Hello everybody, it's Aaran back from Screenstars, and I'm here once again to do another review for Geek Legion of Doom, and today I'm here to review the 2020 action film The Runners. Now this is a film that is co-directed by the two main leads in the film, so we have Joey Loomis and Micah Lyons who are co-directing it, and Micah Lyons also wrote the film. Now, Micah Lyons plays a character called Ryan Stevens, who is the big brother to another character called Zoe, played by Nettie Leach. Now, he's been raising Zoe for the last 10 years as they lost their parents in a car accident previously. And she's 17, she's getting a bit rebellious and is struggling. One night she goes to a party and she never comes home, and she ends up getting taken hostage and held at her will, and basically she's going to be sold into the human trafficking stroke sex trade. Ryan is not going to stand for this, and he basically goes on the hunt trying to find his sister, using any means necessary to bring her back home safely. Now, this film also stars Tom Sizemore. Well, I say stars, he's in it probably for about 5 minutes. He plays the local preacher, and he's got 2 or 3 scenes, and that's really it. So he's just really a face and a name to have on the cover here. He's not really affecting anything in this film, not really. Essentially, the best way to think about this film is like a cross between Taken and Rambo Last Blood. Taken with the kidnapping story and Rambo Last Blood for similar reasons, and also that film tried to deal with the sex trafficking trade as well. Now, the thing about this film, it's a fairly bog standard action piece. I think one of the things I liked about this film was the fact that Micah Lyons' character, Ryan Stevens, he wasn't like, as far as I was aware, he wasn't like some ex-special forces guy or anything like that. He was just a normal guy who wanted his sister back, who felt deeply responsible for looking after her after the loss of their parents, and that part of the film was really well explained. They took the time to establish these relationships between the brother and the sister, which I really appreciated. Not an awful lot of action films will do that, and certainly not effectively anyway, and I think this film really did do that effectively. The relationship between Ryan's character and his best friend Kuta, who volunteers to help him, I thought that was good. There was a layer of comedy that ran through that relationship as well, especially from the character Kuta, which at times felt okay, but at other times it felt out of place in a film like this maybe, but that was good as well. There were some good ideas in this film, not necessarily executed to the level that I appreciated. It, again, is the best way I can describe it. I think this is one of those films that is unfortunately littered with an awful lot of plot holes. I'll try and give you some examples without spoiling things. For example, the sister is in the back of a camper van as she's being transported across country, and she finds a mobile phone stuffed down one of the I don't know, somewhere. There's a mobile phone in there, and she decides to try and get in touch with her brother. Now, it's quite clear that there's no mobile network. She can't make any calls. However, she can still make texts. Now, I'm from the UK. I don't know how it works in the US, but in the UK, if you've no mobile network, you can't send texts. If you've got Wi-Fi, you can still contact people on Messenger and things like that. So again, it's technology. We all know how technology works, and for me, that didn't make any sense at all, to be perfectly honest. And also, what also didn't make sense is that these are supposed to be hardened criminals that have taken her and some other girls in this camper van that I presume they have used before, and they haven't checked that there's no mobile phones stuffed in the back somewhere. It just seems a little bit slack-happy by these criminals, who also leave behind at the strip club where they were based initially an envelope full of money and some pictures. So they don't seem the most intelligent criminals, even though they try and make out they've got this super plan sort of thing. So there was things like that just bothered me. I thought the criminals were a little bit pantomime. A couple in particular stood out as pantomime. And then later on in the film, somebody goes and sees Tom Sizemore's character, the preacher, and lets him know what's going on. And he contacts the police. And then all of a sudden, this SWAT team turns up at the location to try and rescue everybody. How did they know where they were? And then they've got this FBI team in this like room overseeing everything. And you would think they were literally God, because they could literally see everything that was going on there. And it didn't explain it away like there were cameras everywhere or drones everywhere or anything like that. It just, there were these people in a room saying, oh, he's getting in the helicopter now, we need to stop him. How would they know that? They're the ones that seen it, nobody else. So there was a lot of convenient plot devices in this film, and an awful lot of plot holes in this film that I personally struggled to get over. I think if you're gonna put a film together, I think sometimes you just have to have it make sense. However, saying all that, some of the action scenes were good. You believed his reasons for getting his sister and his desperation for trying to find his sister. It shifted pace about halfway through when he catches up, and then it kind of turns into something else, the film, a little bit. It doesn't become like a chase film anymore, it becomes almost like a survival film, if that makes sense. So I appreciated that turn and twist as well. I thought that worked pretty well for the movie. But overall, I think the flaws with this film ultimately harm it. But it's a nicely put together film that's trying to shine a light, I guess. It does leave a message at the end of the film about the sex trafficking industry, and so it is trying to shine a light on all that, I guess, which I appreciate too. But ultimately, it's got to be a 5 out of 10 for me. It's just the problems with the film, I think, outweighed the positives with the film. So that is my review for The Runners. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you back on the Geek Legion of Doom with more reviews very, very soon.